Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Fighter Heart podcast. I'm Joe. Today I'm sitting here with Callie and Jaime. Hello, guys.
Hey there.
Hello.
So we'd like to get into it really, right off the spot here. So what you can do for me, maybe you both can tag team this one. Give us a little background about who you are, Callie. Where you grew up, how you were raised, and then get right into your Fighter Heart story.
So I'm Callie, and when I was born with a limb difference on my left foot, and I had to have an amputation. And I grew up born, raised in Texas, still in Texas, and I do archery. I used to do horseback riding. I'm now getting into riding and sharing my story.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, where, I guess maybe, Mom, you could give us a little background of, about like more details about the situation of her growing up with,
Yeah. So Callie, like Callie said, she was born with a limb difference. So we knew right away when she was born that there was a significant difference in the length of her left leg. And so the doctor told us that we kind of had two choices. We could either do a bunch of surgeries where they would break and stretch and break and stretch and break and stretch her leg bone, trying to make it the same length as the other one, only to tell us that that wasn't guaranteed, that they could do all of those surgeries. Callie would have stayed in the hospital for most of her childhood and potentially get to 13 or 14 and then say, well, it's not a viable leg and we still need to do an amputation. Or we could do an amputation when she was younger, like younger than 2, so that she would only remember growing up with a prosthetic leg. And I mean, it's not an easy decision because you do want to make the right one as a parent, and you do want to potentially give her a shot at having a leg. But in the end, I mean, we prayed on it. We went to a bunch of different specialists, of course. We talked to families that had done both. So we actually got to go to the hospital and got paired up with families that either had done an amputation surgery or who'd done the bone lengthening ones. And at the end of the day, the amputation was just, it felt more sound, a more sound decision for us.
Was there was there like one person you spoke to or one event specifically that happened and like made your mind up? You knew that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, we actually met a family. The little girl, she was maybe 7 or 8, and she just had this vivaciousness about her with her prosthetic. She did cheerleading, she did gymnastics, like nothing was stopping this little girl. And it felt right after meeting her. I was like, okay, this little girl's not letting anything stop her. So that's what we can do for Callie. We can do the same thing. We can get her fitted for a prosthetic leg, and then we can just stand back and get out of her way and let her live life.
So then I can't really even ask, like how hard is it for you because it's the only life you know, really. Callie, like I can't really be like how
Yeah, a
hard
lot of people say like, "Oh, I'm sorry for whatever happened," or
yeah.
do you ever, one of the funny things they ask is, do I ever dream of having 2 legs, or do I think I have this leg? And I've always seen like, this prosthetic is my leg. That's like, when I get up in the morning, I gotta get my leg on, or I'm gonna fall down. I need to get my leg. I just call it my leg. It's not my prosthetic.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So it's like, yeah, so it's nothing really crazy to you because it's just what you've known to be. So when did you start realizing growing up, Callie, like that, were there things that other people could do that you couldn't do or anything like that? You ever
When I was younger, I didn't have as like, well, prosthetic technology is still developing. So when I was littler, there was less like options. I had a basic foot, so it couldn't move. It was just flat-footed. And I didn't really play on the playground too much because I couldn't run as fast as everyone else. And I kind of learned through when I was playing in PE, the teacher would have to go, okay, we gotta slow down for Callie. That's when I was like, oh, I might not be able to do this, and I have to change my ways.
Yeah. So when did it, but because now I interview people and like they've won marathons, like with prosthetic legs. So when did
Yeah.
it start to change? Was that recent?
She actually, we went to a camp. They have a camp, it's called Camp No Limits. And it's just for amputees. And so she went when she was 8 or 9, don't quote me on that, 8 or 9-ish. And at the camp, they actually had a bunch of different prosthetic running blades for the kids to try. And so like Callie said, up until this point, she just had a flat-footed foot on her prosthetic, which was not very flexible. She couldn't run on it. And so at camp, she tried this running blade, and it was kind of a morph between a blade and it still had a flat bottom on it. So very, very comfortable, and kind of a transitional type foot. And so she tried it and just fell in love. So as soon as we got home from camp, I called her prosthetic team and I was like, look, how do we get one of these blades for her? Because they're, I mean, full transparency, Joe, they're ridiculously expensive. Like
Yeah.
insurance will not cover them.
That's what I
I
was
mean,
gonna say.
they don't see them as a necessity. They don't consider running to be something that children or adults want to do. So, which is crazy.
That is nuts. Yeah, like
But
she can't even like run around at all. Like so
no,
you should
no
mostly
movement. I mean,
sitting, I
she could
guess.
walk with the prosthetic she had prior
I
to
tried
this.
really hard I could,
It was-
but it was not fun. When we had to do track day, always the last person.
Yeah,
It was not
just
fun.
not comfortable. So they reached out to the company that makes the blades, Blatchford, and bless their hearts, they were like, let's donate one to her. So
What?
they donated her blade to her, and she's worn a Blatchford blade ever since. Just
Wow. So you asked them like how much does this cost? And they said we'll donate one basically.
yes,
That's,
yeah. Our prosthetic team reached out to them and they told them how much Callie loved it and that Callie, rides horses and wants to try and run a 5K, and they were like, well, let's donate one to her. So they sure enough donated one to her, and she's worn one of theirs ever since.
wow. So you said that was when you were 8 or 9. How old are you now?
15.
15. All right. So like 6, 7 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
on her second one because she's grown into the bigger version
Yeah,
now.
They had to get me a new one.
Yeah.
Are you very active?
Yeah, I do. I used to do horseback riding ever since I was 5 at this therapeutic horse riding place. But we stopped doing the lessons because now I'm doing archery with kinetic kids.
Oh, wow. Archery. So what is it about archery that you're drawn to? Why do you like it?
A lot of sports have to do with running, like football, soccer, basketball. And as much as yes, I can run now with this prosthetic, it's still hard for me to do, and I have to train extra harder than everyone else. But I wanted to try a sport, and they had archery, and I was like, that's cool. I want to try that. And so I tried it, and it's more of a mental and upper body sport, and you're not really competing with anyone, you're competing for your score. So it was perfect.
Wow. So it takes a lot of concentration, right? I've done archery like when I was in high school. That was probably the last time I did it. I don't know. So is that what you like? Like you said, the mental game, right?
Yeah, she likes the mental game. And then it's cool because the team she plays with, they're kids that have disabilities too. So she still gets that team aspect, but it's her against her every time she competes. Like she's just trying to beat herself last time, whatever her last score was, she's trying to beat. So that's cool. It's neat to watch her grow in that.
I used to shoot 30 meters, and now I just got bumped up to 50 meters. And this last practice, I got 111 points out of 300. So we're just building up from where we go.
50 meters. So that's like 150 feet, right?
Yeah.
So you're shooting from 150 feet away, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep. And there's kids with wheelchairs doing it as well, and some people have arm differences and they pull with their mouth.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
So what's the target that you're shooting at? How big is it?
So it's a big barrel, but they have 4 corners with smaller targets, and you pick today they had A through D. So it's top left, top right, top
Mhm.
from all that area.
Yeah.
And you just have to shoot that little target.
Do you get bullseyes often? Is that a common thing or no?
It depends on how well I do with, well, there's wind, because we're doing outdoor season now. And where my arrow is going. So I have to learn that, and I have to adjust my balance with my prosthetic is a big thing. So just learning how to adapt for yourself, and everyone has different ways they do it. And the great thing about my team is it's all kids with different disabilities. We get to learn from each other and put different ways of, well, this kid did this, and this coach in a wheelchair told me to do this, and I'll try that, and we just slowly merge our ideas.
Yeah. So do you compete?
Mhm.
In,
We
like,
started.
competitions?
She actually, for Texas indoor season, she was 27th in the state. So, I mean, she's pretty, for her age group, she's pretty good.
Yeah, so then you're definitely gonna hit a bullseye then. I can't
Yeah.
imagine 150 feet away. That's half of Yankee Stadium, like in my eyes, like
Yeah.
from home plate to like the outfield you're shooting.
Yeah.
That's really crazy. That's awesome. Congrats, like good job on that.
Thank you.
What are your plans for the future, Callie?
I
Yeah,
really wanna, well, one of my things that I'm working on is writing a book. That includes some disabilities and things of that into the book. It's a sci-fi one with cyborgs. And then I really want to show, possibly through videos, maybe in the future, that I'm a normal person and can do things like anyone else. I don't really like using the word that like it's a normal person thing, because we're just all people. So I just want to show that to everyone.
no one's normal. Everyone's weird in some way.
That's right.
I think I don't
Your own version of weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's categories, different folders
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, you know, I really never believed in that. What's she doing? So, if you had some advice, Callie, for someone maybe that grew up the same way as you know, like what is some advice you would give? Like some of the hard times you went through that, like you're like, oh, I wish I thought about things that way back then.
I would say for people that have limb loss, try not to learn to not hate your leg. Don't think of it as I'm getting up, I have to put on this stupid piece of metal, I'm gonna walk around this thing. Don't think of it that way. When I was in third grade and around till probably sixth grade, I hated my prosthetic because it was, I didn't have my running blade, I couldn't run, I was the slowest in PE. People wouldn't want to pick me sometimes for PE because they're like mean 5-year-olds. And I was like, it's the prosthetic. I don't want to wear it. It's the prosthetic. But when I got my running blade and I started to build my confidence, pick out fabrics for and designs I liked, customize it, and showed people like my cousins or family members like, hey, I get to do horseback riding now with it. And there's other people that have disabilities. So I was like, oh, this is my leg. This is my leg. So I think you have to learn to love it. Like if you get a new hair color, you gotta learn to love that. You gotta learn that your new family member, whatever's new in your life, you have to learn how to love it.
No, that's great advice for anyone, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, do you have any competitions coming up or anything like that? Maybe soon.
So she had literally
This morning.
How'd you do?
Yeah, hence why we have wet hair. We're still a little sunburned. Yeah, she had one this morning.
That was the 111th 50 meter.
Yeah, she had one today.
Were you happy with your performance?
We're actually leaving to go on a national park trip. Otherwise, she would be going to the Endeavor Games in Oklahoma, but we're doing family vacation instead. But hopefully maybe nationals in July. We have to see how she does.
Builds strength.
Yeah.
How often do you practice? What's your like training regimen?
We try to practice every Saturday.
So we have team practice every Saturday.
And then my coach, we try to go from Monday to Tuesday. It just depends on when she's available, and we go after school.
Oh wow. So every like how many days a week? That's
twice
like
a week.
Yeah, twice a week, sometimes 3 days a week.
nice. Are there like pro archery players that you like follow, or is that not a thing?
So one of the coaches actually that used to help with her team was a Paralympic medalist. Yeah,
Leah,
Coriel. So she helped with the team. Yeah, she's phenomenal. But
And
yeah, lots of
is-
Texas likes its archers, so there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
lots of archery inspiration in Texas.
is oh yeah, I could have you met a lot of friends like through archery?
we have met some, I have people that I now just talk to online, like through the phone, that I met through archery, or we play games together now, or just like after we go from archery practice, we're like, hey, how is this? And just talk a little bit and get to chill with people that are like me and like the same things as me.
Is this a thing? I don't know if this is a real thing in archery. Like, do people ever like see how fast they shoot an arrow?
So, like, are you saying from how quick you can get your arrows through? That mean like how many you can do within the time limit? Some people do, but it's actually better if you wait between taking shots.
Yeah.
Because if you just go bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
you lose all your energy. And
Yeah, because I'm like thinking back in like the Avengers movies. This guy's like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's not, he would not be hitting as accurately unless he was
Right.
like some super pro, which he's a superhero, so.
yeah, he's probably pretty good. Awesome, Callie. Is there like I don't know if you guys have like a social media page or something people could follow?
Yeah, so we do a lot of disability advocacy it's at The Princess and the Prosthetic, pretty much on everything, Facebook, Instagram, and that's the title of our blog too.
I think a good name for something would be It's My Leg. Maybe that's your book.
Yeah, that could be your book title. It's my leg.
You said that a few times. Yeah.
That'll be another book.
Another book. Now we got two books.
I have one series already planned out.
Yes.
That's, how can I explain this without saying much? It's basically a giant, I think metaphor would be the best word of, you can have your disability, but are you gonna let that slow you down from doing this? Like, some people seem to take, some in shows I have watched or movies, they'll have a disability and they'll have that character kind of set back from the other characters, or they'll have it where it's like, oh, it's my disability, I can't do this now and I'm ruined, or they won't make the character go fully through it and recover as much. And I feel like if you gave a character, just one of my characters is missing an arm, he is one of the, just gets stuff done and goes through it and makes jokes about it. It's just like, that's my arm, yep, it's gone. You put it through a metal detector, like there's just little things that they do and jokes that as people that have disabilities make, that people are like, oh, but isn't that a bad thing? Where I'm like, if you make it a bad thing, yes.
Oh wow, so that one's coming that's the second book?
It's a trilogy so
Yeah.
far.
Oh yeah, all right, beautiful. Looking forward to it. You guys have anything else you want to say before I let you go? Anything you want to promote or websites or anything?
No, thanks for having us. Like I said, we're on all social media. It's at The Princess and the Prosthetic. So
All right.
we love meeting new people. So drop in our inbox.
Awesome. So have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone else, thank you for watching another Fighter Heart podcast, and we will see you again next week.